Good morning. My name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays. It is an ongoing anthology campaign where every month I choose a different RPG system that is not officially Star Wars RPGs, and I reshape it or hack it or mod it so that it can help us tell a story set in Star Wars. And I offer it up to the Gauntlet community of online tabletop fans and aficionados, and folks RSVP to it and show up. So it's always a different cast of characters who come together to participate in Star Wars Saturdays. This is April of 2021. And the game I have chosen is called Neon City Overdrive. Neon City Overdrive is this game I found on Drive Through RPG during I believe it was like a sale a few months ago. It is a very cool, neon soaked cyberpunk RPG, which is fun because it has all player facing roles, meaning the GM or the moderator doesn't have to stat up and roll dice against PCs, although the PCs in this game players are rolling against themselves. It's weird. You're going to roll two different types of six-sided and like match them up and pair them, and it's going to be cool. I'm really excited about this. So I'm running Cyberpunk in Star Wars. That's a weird mix. The aim for this game is that we're going to try to run as adherent to the idea of cyberpunk RPGs, less so cyberpunk actual fiction, because the players will all be part of a team who go on jobs, right? And that's how they pay for their stuff or try to achieve their drives, which is an actual mechanic in Neon City Overdrive. The time setting for this game is after Palpatine has died the first time. And he's obviously dead because Death Star 2 blew up. So why would he come back? Who even knows? It's a couple years after that, somewhere around that time frame, that is near the Mandalorian TV series, if you've seen that. And I know there's a whole lot of descriptors. Here's the short version. The New Republic has taken control of a significant portion of the galaxy, but there are Imperial remnants, and there's one significant slice of the galaxy known as Zsinj's Empire. A man who was a Grand Moff, that's a high muckety muck title, like, you know, Moff Tarkin and a bunch of other Moffs if you've watched the CG series. Basically, very important person in the Empire. This guy, after Palpatine dead, he's like, nope, nope, we're not giving up the ghost. I'm going to establish myself as the warlord of the Empire. And Serenno is the planet that he declared was the new capital of the Empire. That's where we're playing. The capital city of the capital planet. I know, I heard you like planets and capitals, so I put your capital in a capital. Nevertheless, Carannia City is where we will be playing this cyberpunk game. So we'll be exploring cyberpunk themes and ideas with this, which is what makes us human. If I replace most of my body with cybernetic parts, am I still a person? If I can like have part of my memory replaced or replicated, what is me? Those are things that we may be able to explore here. I'm really excited about it. But of course, then we're throwing in alien species, blasters, the idea of the Force might be somewhere. We've got the New Republic, which is effectively a rebellion. We've got the Empire. But the last little bit to just make sure before we roll forward is that while there is definitely an Imperial presence here, Warlord Zsinj is actually kind of hands off when it comes to ruling Serenno, in that he's effectively handed off the power to the corporations that have sucked the lifeblood of Carannia City, and so Cariana City. And so the Capital Security Forces CorpSec are the ones who are like, you pay taxes to pay the CorpSec to run public safety, but there are significant portions of the city that don't have the benefits of that, and it's pretty lawless. So hopefully this will be a fun mashup. I'm quite excited. Before we jump forward, let me quickly go over our safety tools. We have lines and veils. There are a number that the folks have uh, selected that line means we're not going to have it at all. We have lines against sexual assault, violence, or coercion, harm to animals, and harm to children. Just to check in, children to me is preteen. Is everybody good with that, or do we want to expand it for preteen? All right, cool. And that's not just humans, although the vast majority of the most populous race on Serenno is human, but it would still be children of other races. Veils, which means that this content is okay to exist. We're not going to shine a light on it. If we hit it, we'll either fade to black or do a quick screen wipe, that kind of thing. And the veils are sexual content and torture by PCs. And then ask first, the last one. I like this because it means it's situational. It's a thing where check in with the group before you introduce this content, because it may be a thing that we're all cool with, or it may be a thing where it's like, can you try it a different way because whatever reason. The ask firsts are midichlorians. I put that one in. I just always put it in now. If you don't know what a midichlorian is, don't worry, who cares? Domestic violence, homophobia, pandemics, racism/speciesism, and slavery. So we have an ask first on slavery, and so that's good. I'm glad somebody has that there. We'll check that in before we bring it fully into our story. And then on top of that, we have the X card, which is a multi-use, very brute force tool. I love it because I call myself Work Lord online, so I don't mind giant bloody instruments. The X card is there in case there's a particular situation that you didn't realize you needed a line or a veil on, or just today it's not something you're interested in. Isn't fun. Isn't your kind of fun? So you can mention, hey, I need to X card a certain thing. You can type an X into the chat. I don't always look at the chat. Sometimes I glance over, sometimes I miss it. So if you type an X card and we continue on, anyone else sees it, please highlight that to me. What we'll do is pause play for just a moment. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain why you've X carded it. I may ask a question of, are you X carding this particular thing, just to make sure what has been X carded. And then we'll excise it from play. That's what X card means to me. We take it out and we'll continue our fun. We've got 6 amazingly beautiful brains here. I know that no thing that is X carded will be an impediment to our fun. So with all of that out of the way, all that preamble, let's get to the ambling. As folks have already created their characters, now they'll be introducing them for the first time. And once we go around, then we're going to develop a couple of links between the characters, because you guys are already a fully functioning team who go out and do jobs, and you work often for the fixer known as Janus, a Chiss. Chiss is the blue-skinned, often red-eyed folks who are from a very cold planet. So let's start from the far left-hand side of our character keeper and head towards the right, which means that Cody, you get to kick us off. Introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
How's it going? I'm Cody. I use he, him pronouns. Today I'm playing Griffon Typho, or Block. He also uses he, him pronouns. He's a older gentleman, I would say late 40s, early 50s. He's an old dog on Serenno. He's been there since he was born. His family grew up there under the Counts before they split from the Republic and founded the Confederacy of Independent Systems. And he's been kind of fighting that yoke ever since the Republic won the Clone Wars and converted into the Empire. He's been stumping against them wherever he can. So he's an old hand at this whole thing.
Has he served time?
Definitely. Only for minor charges. They could never get him on the real stuff that they did, but he's well recognized amongst the citizens of the city, and that includes the corpsec and even troopers who might spend time on there. And so it's up to him to stay far and clear away from any overt activity, lest he get hassled and arrested for smoking death sticks where he shouldn't be.
Nice. Thank you very much, Cody. I appreciate it. Next up is Greg.
Hey everyone, I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Taz. Taz uses the she, her pronouns. She's a Twi'lek. The picture, like every character I built, it's just based off the picture. She's got a big old gun. She used to run with the Razor Girls, who are the gang in this sort of section of town. But she is out. She's like totally out, except that her drive is to repay her debt to the Razor Girls. I think it's some sort of blood debt kind of thing, that she needs to repay them for. I'm not exactly sure what form of repayment they will accept either. And yeah, so she's got the gunfighter, she's got the BFG, and she's got the cyber organs. I took toxic filter. I think that's the closest I had to a background for her. She probably used to work in like the undercity of Serenno, and had to have that installed so that she could breathe down there. And she uses it to great effect with, I'm sure, some sort of gas grenades and such.
Nice. Why did she leave the Razor Girls? Was it a personal feud? Was they did something that was a step too far? If you need to discover that and play, that's a-okay. I
Didn't like her gun. No, felt it was off brand. No, I think yeah, come back to me on that one. I'll think about it.
Okay, yep. Cool. No problem whatsoever. Do think about it. I think it's interesting. Leandro, welcome. You are next up.
Hi, yeah. My name's Andrew. You see him pronouns. For this series of Star Wars Saturdays, I'm playing Luna Sunfell. Uses they, them pronouns. They are a human bounty hunter who's kind of stuck in Serenno at the moment. Their family is known for being quite opportunistic. For anyone who knows them, it's almost like every member seems to have been pressed to try and get some kind of advantage in life. Like, for example, Luna's oldest sister worked for, or maybe still works for, the Imperial Security Bureau. They have a cousin who rose up and became like an officer of an Imperial Star Destroyer. Kind of opportunistic lot. Also, there's a middle sister who ended up just being a bartender, but nobody talks about her because she didn't go anywhere in life. Luna's the youngest of those sisters, and was the first to like kind of ran away and make a name for themselves, because they were like, I'm not gonna work for the Imperials, or more like, well, they're bounty hunters, so they'll work with whoever they want. It's just like they like that freedom. They like that kind of flexibility, because, you know, some of their family thought the easiest way to get up in life is, you know, there's a hierarchy, gotta climb those ranks. But for Luna, it's like, nah, I don't want to be hemmed in like that. Which makes their current situation not great, because they were in Serenno, probably working a job of some sort. Not sure the details yet, when Warlord Zsinj kind of like officially took power, and they've been stuck here ever since. Hence why their drive is to move to the orbitals, or just get out. Just get out of here. The Empire's collapsed. There's a galaxy of opportunity out there.
It's true. I was you're talking about all these things she wanted, and I'm like, why is she here? She's trapped. I see. They are trapped. That's awesome. And I mean, terrible for them, but interesting for me. I love that drive. Really, really cool. Thank you very much, Leandro. Sherry, you're up next.
Hi, I'm playing Court. She is an archaeology brat. Her family is associated with the Yen Corp, which is all about transportation. Her drive is to get in good with the guys. That's you guys. And essentially, she is really good at driving and transportation and controlling all of those vehicles that are under the purview of the Yen Corp. And she's naive. She is an optimist. She thinks this is all going to be fun and games and awesome. And she is in for it. So her edges are that, let's see here, that she's very good at sneaking around. She's great at driving. She has a machine interface for vehicles of all sorts, especially those that are owned by Yen or built by Yen or leased by Yen. And because she's an optimist, she's particularly tenacious. She keeps on trying because she knows it'll work out. Her flaws are unfortunately collateral damage and naive. So she just thinks this is going to be really fun. She is, however, super handy. And I figure she has probably stumbled in at the end of one of the jobs that you all were doing earlier that was going wrong and was able to get you out. So now she just knows where you kind of work, and she shows up and just sees what she can do. I think she has a crush on Taz though. So yeah.
Nice. I like that. That is fantastic. Thank you, Sherry. And last but not least is Steven.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Heat, whose pronouns are he, him. Heat is kind of a bruiser, kind of older, probably has a lot more in common with Block than the rest of these kids. And he has his edges are combat reflexes, awareness, and reaction speed, and a ghost chip. His flaws are AWOL and has a code. What nobody really knows around here is that Heat is an ex-clone. He was a trooper with implants, so his armor was actually connected to him, and he's now abandoned that armor. And his drive is penance for his past deeds. So all of his weapons are non-lethal. He certainly doesn't mind hurting someone, but like his blaster pistol is set to permanently be on stun. And so I don't know if I mentioned that I have a ghost chip edge, but that's a weird name that we'll have to figure out. And I think he's more of the silent type, but trying to just eke his way along.
So the ghost chip, I just have to ask, right? Because he is a character that you played in a previous Star Wars Saturdays game. And in that you were the weaponized and has some trouble going against a particular bit of programming and training. Is that what you were thinking for this ghost chip?
For the ghost chip, it just sounded, it was an evocative trigger that just sounded too good. Okay. It fit in with the past of the character. What I was actually thinking was the ghost chip is what helps me, A, have a faster reaction speed, which is one of my other edges. B, probably interface into systems that normally you couldn't have. I have a backdoor Imperial code kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So it's not a personality chip remnant from being weaponized. I'm glad I asked.
I think it is. It's just not necessarily that active. So it gives me access to stuff. But on the bad side, it has. I think it could necessarily. If too much attention is drawn to it, it could be tracked, or whatever you feel like. Any kind of hard move sounds great. Yep.
All right. Good. I just wanted to check in and make sure that we were on the same page, that you didn't go, whoa. I meant this just be nice. It's just nice, Rich. Stop. Okay, cool. We're on the same page. That sounds fantastic. Now we're going to do a little bit of links between folks because you're an extant gang. And I think that's a thing that is fun. So you have a team. You have a team name, obviously, because nobody's going to have a drive of name your team. Joking. Sherry mentioned that. I thought that was hilarious. Let's start off with Block. So Block, you're the old hat. You've been here the longest.
Yeah, I think one of my what are they called? Characteristics. One of my
Trademarks?
Yes, one of my trademarks, thank you, is the old cantina. And I know you said you don't want to start in a tavern, but I'm wondering if maybe that's a legitimate front for the Chiss who we do jobs for. Maybe it is a place I work. I don't necessarily own it. But maybe it is kind of the front to where we gather and where we all kind of have jobs together.
That sounds awesome. That sounds great. And I am here for that. Yes, that is a great use of meeting in a bar. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So what kind of, because I like the idea that there might be a contact between Block, who knows this place really, really well, and Luna, who's probably been here a while and has been trying to find a way off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the old cantina is a perfect kind of stomping ground for Luna to have fallen into, maybe like trying to find jobs, trying to find passage. And while waiting for that, Block maybe offered Luna a job as a bartender for a time. Maybe, yeah, it looks like something you know your way around. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, that's fun because they have an older sister who they made fun of for becoming a bartender, and now they're stuck here being a bartender.
That was kind of my thought, was that Block offering this to them was kind of hey, it's good work, and Luna being, this thought of, I can't believe this is what I have to do while I'm here.
Yeah, it sounds, it's good work, but is it fun work?
Well, no, of course not, but it's work.
Yeah, but so do you know about fun work? Fun work.
Yeah, I think I think that's the relationship that they started with, and it became I think I have some fun work for you.
Ooh, cool. I like it. Good.
Does the cantina have a name?
Oh, it needs a name.
Oh, it's
like the hardest thing ever, I know.
Yeah, of course. So I'm thinking my drive is to take back control of the family business. I don't necessarily think that the cantina is the family business. In my mind, I think Block has other business that he considers of more import. So I don't think Block owns the canteen. I think he's just kind of like the head bartender there. So I'm open for suggestions if anybody has some great names. But maybe Block's a fixture of it. Maybe he's been there forever. Maybe the cantina is known as Chip Off the Old.
I
don't know.
kind of like that.
I like the idea that Block has like his own booth that he's set up in, and he's wired, he has connections and that kind of stuff. So it's, he's like a fixture.
Right. Okay.
So we'll need to name this cantina if we don't call it Chip Off the Old, although that does tickle me. Just going to Blocks. Chip Off Cantina. There we go. Chip Off Cantina. That is what it is called.
Perfect.
Writing that down. Cool. So we've got a connection between Luna and Block. Let's move to Taz. Taz, who do you want to develop a connection with?
So I've kind of got two in mind off the top of my head. I think the repaying my debt to the Razor Girls and me no longer being a member is tied to Chip Off Cantina. I think they went to kind of extort the cantina, and that was a step too far for Taz, because Taz and Block, I think Taz is older perhaps than definitely older than Court and Luna. And so that's like fixture of the neighborhood. We don't do that to Chip Off. And I think that kind of caused a schism there. So I think Taz is probably a regular at the cantina. So she's a little I think that's where she may actually act as like the bouncer, maybe, for the cover part of the business. And then I was also thinking that Court, I think, so Court's an arcology brat. I'm trying to figure out where Taz and Court may have crossed paths, but I think Taz has brought Court into this life. Saw a skill in her that she thinks she's like way skilled. Taz thinks she's maybe like down here skill, but still way better at driving speeders than anybody else in the crew. So I think there's I'm open to whatever Sherry thinks, but I think there was some job where Court was key, and Taz has brought her into it.
Taz, let me prove myself. I'm forever indebted. Plus,
Oh,
Taz
well,
is really
Taz
cool.
did lose hers. Okay, so while you were getting a Diet Pepsi, Rich, I did roll for a speeder bike, and I failed. So I think Taz was in a swoop race with Court. Does that work for Court?
Yes.
And totally lost to Court and was impressed.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh yeah, that's why I was there to help the group when they had a bad time. It's because I was following Taz around.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that a lot. Sweet. Good. So let's go ahead and mark that down. Leandro, you've already got a connection to Block. Let's create another connection out to someone else.
Yeah. So part of my one of my trademarks and background is orbital, which meant having kind of been around, or at least kind of been around. Sorry, my mind went one place and then my thoughts going somewhere else. Maybe I kind of want to make a connection with Court in that maybe before we were in this group, I ran into her while being in another job. So maybe when when Taz brought in this kid, I'm like, oh no, this kid was a punk, uh, and nearly lost me my cyber arm, because she insisted in trying to help.
Sure.
If that's okay. So like,
Yeah, I like the idea that maybe you were doing a gig as like a bodyguard for some of the corp types, and she was like a kid that was at the party that, that was, maybe raised a ruckus. That would be good because you caught her sneaking around, so she made it like you were being mean to her and all that stuff, and you got into trouble because she's very good at sneaking around and lying.
yeah, it's that. Yeah, it feels like that classic. It's classic adventure of like, no, the job probably would have gone worse if you weren't there, but you were still annoying, because you were there. Then that's what Luna remembers.
Nice. Yeah, tack that down. That is now written. It is done. Cool. So Sherry, I think you've got your two connections, right? You got a connection out to Luna and Taz, so I
Luna
think you're
and
good.
Taz.
Then let's go to Heat. Let's develop a couple of connections for you.
Yeah, so I have several options out there. Probably one of my favorites is a connection to Court that I think that I've come across Court before, and her naivete reminds me a lot of just like a little sister, and I'm very protective of Court, right? So I think Court's like family. And then a second connection.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone who needs connections? Or is everybody good?
I think Block just has one. The two old guys kind of would be a fun connection.
I have Block has two, but I'm happy to have more, of course. I think the cantina makes it a ready place to kind of act as a background that we've obviously interacted in some capacity. What do you think that would be, Heat?
Maybe. Okay, so let's see if I can actually tie in more than one person. Let's say that someone in the Sunfell family came after me for a bounty, right? Because I'm worth money. And I came to Block to clear out some of my history, right? So that they couldn't connect me.
Sure. So you hired Block to do some slicing, some data disruption, a classic gig. Yeah, I like that. So you've hired Block in the past. And in getting the access to like clearing that history of you, Block knows what you're capable of, and he's used you for jobs in the past, or he's been, I know a guy, and he calls up you.
Let's actually say it wasn't just an out and out payment for this job. It was, an exchange. It was a trade.
Cool. Yeah,
that sounds
like
perfect.
Dig it. That sounds good. Cool. Man, I love this. I let off all strong, like we're not going to have a meet in a bar, but now that Chip Off Cantina seems so cool.
Yeah, sorry I went in direct opposition to your guidance.
I mean, you're basically a born rebel, Block, so obviously you had to be rebellious. I forgive you because you came up with a cool thing that I'm going to use. So, no
Also, I
worries.
just want to add one thing. Court
Yes.
actually likes bartending and will sneak over there and make the drinks if she can get away with it.
Yeah, when Block's like jacked in and slicing, he comes back and he always chases her out from behind the bar. Excellent.
That is really cool. I'm into it. I love. Sorry, I just want to point out Greg's Imperial probe droid, just in case anybody's missed it. It's the best thing. It's easy to miss, but it's almost as amusing as smiley face pillows. Cool. All right. So we pick up at the Chip Off Cantina, and yeah, we'll start off with Court has snuck behind the bar. And Court, is this a thing where you actually could legitimately be like if someone who didn't know Chip Off Cantina and just walked in, they could order a drink, you'd fill it, charge, and everything? Like you're
That-
you totally could be a bartender. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
she likes, taking the credits, doing that thing, because she's always thinking about how she can hack the whole process. So for her, it's very funny. It's like a secret that she could be stealing it, but she's not.
Cool. So let's say that Pollux comes in. Pollux is on our NPCs, no real other than female near human, with a killer kind of aquamarine mohawk. She comes in, tilts her head for a second, but slides up to have the arcology brat serve her, and yeah, she'll ask for like a Pangalactic gargle blast or something along those lines. Block, you are slicing away, just checking out some. I don't know. When you are in, like out, like jacked or whatever, are you normally doing work, Block, or are you just enjoying Kitsune vids? What do you think you're doing at this moment?
I think Block, when he's slicing, when he's jamming, I think he can't help but disrupt. It's almost a death from a thousand cuts approach. Like if he can find a way to make Imperial's lives miserable in even the smallest way, he'll do it. So if he has 10 minutes when he's on break, he'll slice and like rearrange the garbage pickup at the post or something like that, so that they're left with garbage for 2 weeks. I think it's that. I think it's constantly, he can't help himself but work, if that makes sense.
And he's not above these like little petty crimes.
Absolutely not.
Always cool.
He's always down to do the bigger things that are going to make change. But for him, a break, something relaxing, is ruining some Imperial officer's afternoon.
Nice. So you happen to be working on some little petty scheme to throw off the schedules for particular guard change. When Block, you see some more messages trickle in from a couple of other user handles that often change, but they have a certain sequence. Like they're always this many characters, or they always start with this prefix. And you know that the three of them are all members of the Freedom Collective, who they are as pro-rebel as possible. They don't talk New Republic. They just consider themselves rebels. And it looks like they are trying to data mine for some information around Imperial officer movements. That's some pretty scary stuff, because not only can it bring heat down on this particular board, it also is rife for people even suspected of knowing any of the folks in the Freedom Collective getting put away for a long, long time and maybe never appearing again. So how do you handle that when you see these three folks and they're kind of openly talking about trying to get the ideas, like they're trying to hunt and get some intel on officer movements.
I think
Leave
Block opens up like a separate command and messages the one of the three aliases, the three handles, anonymously from a burner account that he says you shouldn't be open about this on the boards. That's no way to get the job done. You need to have boots on the ground. Some of this you need to do off the waves. But I might know something. And then he kind of like ends it and deletes that burner account to see how good these people are.
Nice.
They can get
Cool.
back to him.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you do that thing, you plant the seed and then pull yourself out of the burner account. Heat, why are you at the chip off cantina?
I think I'm meeting a last client to turn over the goods. I think this was a simple kind of job where it's, it was someone had stolen from someone else. I think they'd taken some goods, and I tracked them down, roughed them up, returned the goods, and this is the meetup to return it.
Okay, cool. So you're returning lost goods. Is this a thing you're doing for creds, or you just out of the goodness of your heart because you get that code? So I'm curious.
Yeah. No, I think this is actually, it's for creds. It's really for sort of a what's the right word? It's really a barter.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm trying to get just enough to live off of and do right by the rest of everybody here.
Nice, cool. And then let's check in with Taz. Are you bouncing here right now, or are you here for another reason?
I think Taz may have been looped in on this offloading of crates, just for the manual labor part of it. Part of her armor is that exoskeleton, so she may be the one who's assisting Heat moving this stuff in the back, trying to keep things. This is a front business, and Heat's brought in something a little hot, so this has got to be done in the back.
Nice. So you guys are in like the alley behind Chip Off Cantina, handing over this stuff. We'll say that it's a bunch of mechanical parts and components that Suvo Varan had put the word out needed returned. Suvo is a Rhodian. He's a gearhead, so this is stuff that he does. He kind of runs a secondhand parts market. So he'll slide in on a speeder with his trainee, his engineer in training, Eladon Trier, and the two of them will be meeting you guys in the alley in just a moment. Luna, why are you late to work today?
Oh, why aren't I late? There's I think there was a traffic jam because of well, it was probably an innocuous accident of some sort. Nothing untoward happens in Carannia City. But I think like it's a kind of traffic accident that Lunas is like, I have an excuse. Okay,
Perfect.
Yeah. So I guess
We like rewind back to the point when Court in a speeder like zipped past and this person lost control and like slammed into a street light, and then we come forward to Luda going, "Oh, well, I have an excuse to be late."
Yeah, I think like they're doing this like probably this classic cyberpunk shot of like looking away from the traffic jam into like probably some big screens on on the side of skyscrapers and advertising, sign up with Warlord Zsinj to spread the glory of the Empire across the stars. And I was just thinking, I don't want to do that, but I would like to get on some stars, please.
Nice. I love it. That is fantastic. So Luna, you come in and you see that Block has just disconnected, and Block, when you disconnect, you see that Luna is just now walked in, and Court is behind the bar serving Pollux. Probably, I don't know. Court, do you charge enough, or do you decide that the drinks should be cheaper So
No, she charges the set amount, and she's always like, she stops, she knows all the variations for the drink. So she said, ask Pollux, do you want it to be whale version or flower pot version?
flower pot, please.
All right. And she goes, good choice.
Block steps out of his booth and he looks, and then he sees Luna walking in. He's, what? Why'd I even hire you if this kid's gonna do it better on time? What? You can't be behind here. And he like shuffles Court out. You know, I don't care if you make the best drinks. You can't do it. The last thing I need is the imps coming down because I'm not licensed to have an underage. You need to. What am I doing?
You would never catch me. Don't worry about it.
It's not about catching you. You could get out of here. I'm on the bar.
I don't even understand what you're talking about. It'll be okay.
Block, I think he kind of, after shuffling Court out from behind it, he eyes up Pollux. Is Pollux somebody we know?
As much as you want. She could be a regular.
Okay. Well, I feel like Block doesn't. I feel like he's just kind of, she make the drink all right. She's new here.
Yeah, little young, but yeah, it's good.
Good. Glad. All right. Well, if you need anything, he grabs a glass to clean it. The classic bartender maneuver. His cybernetic arm crushes the glass. He sweeps it up with his cyber arm and then gets another glass out and does that one. This time grabbing it with his functioning arm, and not functioning, his fleshy arm. This one he can clean, but then he gets the rag inside with the cybernetic arm and just shatters it apart, and he just drops the glass. He says, I'm going back to my booth.
Luda, you arrive at work. You had a perfect excuse. You didn't even have to give it because Court caused a distraction.
Yeah, I think Luna was just gonna like not saying anything and just watching that because they know Court's gonna drive Block up the wall. And I think like they'll do like a shushing motion to Court, like, yeah, move over. You're done now. And we'll clean up the glass with their cyber arm, because they also have one. There's a story behind that probably. And I think they just kind of like say to Court, don't you have other things to do, other people to bug? It's a big city after all. This was the Court.
She was clearly like off in somewhere. She said, what did you say?
Don't you have other things to do, people to bug?
Oh, yeah, I know someone I could bug. And I think she'll wander off towards the back door.
What? Wait, who's this someone?
Doesn't matter. It's secret. And then she'll open the back door and lean out into the alley to see what's going on.
Sweet. So we have the exchange between Heat and Taz, handing over all the mechanical parts to Suvo Vorin and Eldon Trier. And Suvo has Eldon like back the speeder up. And what does it look like as Taz is lifting these huge crates? Like, what? I don't know. What's the visual we get off that?
Yeah, she's so the crates are like all arranged on the back of the bar, like it's just a normal shipment of food for the bar. And so she's just grabbing them, and it's effortless for her with this exoskeleton, as she's just like picking up two with both her arms, and they're like on her shoulders as she walks over to the speeder and just pushes them in.
Nice. And I think that Suvo is, and you said this was some kind of like barter exchange. So what is it that he needs that Suvo is going to provide in exchange for all of these return of all the parts?
Well, I think, Taz's part of this is definitely, some cash, right? And I think that Heat's part of this is it's sort of like a upkeep, right? It's a little bit of money to keep rent and that kind of stuff, as well as I think there's a favor that's owed here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's future Benny that Suvo will throw your way.
Yeah.
And Suvo is talking in just straight Rhodian, but we have the little like subtitles going on. He says, I can't believe the sick boys would want all these parts. They don't even know how much it's worth. Thank you for getting this back. You didn't have too much trouble, did you?
Well, it wasn't easy, but we were more than up to the job. And I didn't have to bring in any extra guns, so that I was able to keep the price low.
Suvo turns and his like huge wide eyes looks over at Taz. Now, Taz, do you have like an exoskeleton thing going on? Like, do we see little?
Yeah, she's in like this full armor, but there's external lifting supports on the outside.
God,
It's
that's
like
terrifying.
yeah, for extra strength,
Yeah,
so that she can actually lift that big gun. Yeah,
per the chat, we see the speeder kind of sinks down, and then like the top end gets a little heavy, and the Chendrillin speeder driver Eladon says, "Wow!" And Court, you get to observe Taz and Taz's amazing exoskeleton in heavy work. Soon enough, Suvo hands over some credits, like he transfers credits to you, and he says, "We'll see tonight. And it's good doing business with you." And he throws some kind of Rhodian blessing your way, and then he'll scamper over and hop into the passenger side of the speeder.
And I think Heat, as the exchange kind of ends, puts a hand on the Rhodian shoulder and kind of says, and let me know if you need any more protection or you need any more help, and we'll make sure that the punks here on the street leave you alone. Just stay clean.
He sticks you a little thumbs up, and of course, it's a Rhodian, so it's like a little the little sucker thing at the end of the thumb there.
A little bit prehensile, aren't they? Prehensile.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, he heads over, hops in the speeder, and the speeder starts to pull away. And as it does, it reveals that walking down the same alley is Janice, your Chiss content, your fixer, the guy who's gotten your team a lot of jobs. Now, recently, Janice just decided it was too much effort to pick out a new outfit every day. So he has 10 sets of the exact same outfit, which is this cool kind of sleek coat and a pair of dark gray pants that he's wearing today. And he's got a couple belts going on with all the things that he needs. He has a few markers, like cybernetic implant markers on his forehead, and then one just over his chin. He's told you at one point that the chin one was some kind of taste enhancer cybernetic implant that he got. Everything tastes amazing. He can eat it pork quarter and it feels like 5-star dining. But he comes down and says, "Oh, Taz, Heat, Court, how fortuitous."
Always fortuitous when it's us. And she'll step out into the alley and open the door wider, do the whole usher them into the bar.
Janice will just take the open door as an invitation and he'll walk in. Heat, Taz, I need to talk with all of you, please.
One moment, Janice. And if Janice goes in the bar, Taz is just going to look at Heat and go, "The sick boys want with all that machinery."
I didn't ask whenever I took it back. But I don't know, maybe Janice knows more. We should definitely let Janice know that the sick boys are on the prowl for more machinery and stuff. I mean, some of that was low key kind of machinery. It wasn't anything like they were building weapons out of it or something. It was, regular.
Yeah, well, normally they're just looking for spice.
Yeah.
All right. Then yeah, follow in for Janice.
Cool. When Janice enters, he looks at you, Block makes eye contact, and kind of indicates one of the corner booths. Or no, you've got a booth normally, right? Block like
Definitely. There's one that has all the outlets and stuff like that that he needs to get his slicing on. So he has that open. But he when Janice spots him, he says, I'll be right with you, sir. And he kind of gives a glance around the cantina to make sure everyone who's in here is on the up and up. There's no randos sitting in the cantina at the moment.
there's maybe a dozen regulars who are here, various seated in a few different areas in the cantina. The only person that's like up at the bar is Pollux. Everybody else either has like little data pads or they're watching some of the view screens up top, engaged in other things.
Yep, as long as it's the usual crowd, then he doesn't feel like there's any need to pretend that he doesn't know.
It's like a Wednesday evening kind of deal.
A perfect night for the cantina, obviously.
It's actually business-wise not the best night, really. Not many people come around on a Wednesday. Or Star Wars Wednesday. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, midweek.
So yeah, with that in mind, Block will gesture towards the booth and then follow Janice over to it.
Janice slides into the booth opposite you. He's pretty comfortable here. He's giving you guys a few jobs, and Janice is good at his job. He tries to give you as much upfront information. He's not a Mr. Johnson. He like, if you're thinking Shadowrun lines and you think you're always going to get screwed by your fixer, that has not been so far the relationship that Janice has with you guys. You've heard that he's done some shady deals in the past, but he hasn't done anything like that with you guys. It could just be a dirty rumor on the street. Who knows?
Have I been able to run his credentials, as it were, in the past? Like, is that a possible thing I've been able to do, Rich? Is get to the bottom of his official records, as it were?
Absolutely. And here's what you know, Block. Janice is pretty good at he's an ex-political official who decided, I'm not getting anything done. So he dropped out of politics and became a fixer. The only real vice he has that you're aware of is he's pretty deep into shock boxing. He's backed a number of shock boxers before. He's kind of won a fortune and lost a fortune a couple times over. Other than that, he's pretty clean.
Is he a local politician for Carannia City, or is he from Serenno, or is he off-world?
Yeah, he's local. He was a local
politician.
Well,
then that if he's a local politician, then Block, he thinks he can do no wrong.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Janice slides into the booth, and I think you would gesture for Court, like he's nice to you, Court, in like, maybe if you're not sure, like, he's nice to you. There, we'll just leave that full stop. He's nice to you.
Is it kind of skeevy older guy nice?
I don't know. I'm looking at Janice, and I don't know if he's a skeevy older guy kind of guy. I think he's just a clever chiss who thinks that you're a pretty arcology brat and fun to have around.
All right, then that's cool. Just as long as he's not skeevy.
I don't think he's skeevy.
Girls know these things immediately.
He doesn't seem skeevy.
Okay. Well, given the benefit of the doubt, I'm pleased to be in the middle of these conversations.
Awesome. And he does the thing where he like puts his arm up over the back of the booth as you slide in next to him. Taz, when you guys come in, I don't know how long this booth is, Block, but I imagine that one other person could probably sit down.
Oh, the beauty of it is 6 people can sit here comfortably.
Nice.
6 humanoids. If you get a wider droid or a HUD or a Gamorrean, it might get a little tougher. But
or a Taz in her exosuit. I don't know how that's going to work in a booth.
Does Taz have to do the thing where like you're sitting one leg on the edge of the booth and the other leg kind of just the exosuit just
doing a Riker? No, I think Taz is Taz kind of keeps to the back door. I think she trusts Janice, but knows that it's just a matter of time before something goes south.
Cool. And then this is just Rich, the GM, asking, like, how do we get Luna involved when they are supposed to be kind of behind the bar? How do you want to?
I think that's I was trying to say that when we were sitting down, is that
sorry.
No, it's okay. Block clearing that it's the regulars, that no one's really needing help. He kind of does the little, all right, come this way, Luna. we got work. And if
Yeah, I think
anybody approaches the bar like needs a drink, Block is ready to get up first and go tend to them because he can get it done quick, or break a couple glasses, and it's not a big deal.
get it done quick or break a couple glasses. Yeah, that's good.
Why not both?
Genesis, I hope everyone is doing all right. I have an opportunity. There is some urgency to it, which is why I strode right in. Boar's Oblong, small-time slicer. And I pause now to establish Boar's Oblong. So first of all, if you want to take a look at Boar's, he is located on the NPCs. He's right beside Janice. He's a local slicer. He is a guy that, as his skills as a slicer have degraded over time, he's gotten more and more cybernetics, except that because he's always getting the cybernetics after carking up a job, it's twitchy stuff. It's like not the best installs. It's stuff that doesn't necessarily work together. So he's got like Linux and Windows and, you know, some slice of Ubuntu that are all trying to work together. So yeah, he should have retired a really long time ago, but he just keeps doing jobs, always trying to poke his nose. Block, so Boris got involved in a weird scheme that you pulled his can out of the fire for once a while back. Was it involved with a particular corporation, or was it involved with the Empire or regular corp security?
I think it was with the Empire, and I think Boars frequent some of the same boards, some of the same data sphere like hangouts on the HoloNet, and Boars was blowing up my spot basically. So I had to pull him out of the fire just to keep myself from getting caught and pulled out. So it was less a courtesy and more a necessity that I helped Boars in that moment. I think Boars is he got into the slicing game too late. His mind wasn't ready for it even then. He hasn't been as fine-tuned as Block has for years of sabotage, years of data disruption. Boars heard it was a good way to make a cred, and he jumped in too late. And he's been compensating ever since. So Block definitely looks down on Boars. He thinks he's stirring up trouble, but not even the best kind of trouble, and not even doing it cleanly. So it's kind of that he's kind of like, in Block's mind, Boars is a bit of a HoloNet idiot.
Nice. And of course, Boar's opinion of you is you guys went to school together. You saved his bacon once. He thinks you're amazing. And I mean, he thinks you're great. Whenever he has a little bit of he's a script grandpa, totally. Yeah. Whenever he has a few extra credits, he always comes in here. He tips heavy. Court and Luna, he tips heavy. It's one of the things where, like, when he actually pulls off a job, he blows it in the weekend, and then he's back to subsistence kind of stuff. So he's very like, yeah. And so what is the most dangerous thing about Boars from your observation?
He's got a loud mouth. He does a lot of jobs. He's not always great at them, but that's fine. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. But boy, he talks too much about some of the stuff he knows.
Okay. Cool. And then Taz, you were there. You've been here a while, right? Like, Taz has been here for at least a few cycles. So you were there when Boars got the white rabbit tattoo. He was younger. You were younger. How long did he spend time with the gang, the White Rabbits? Or was that just a thing he got in anticipation of joining up with the White Rabbits?
Sorry, just looking at the White Rabbits.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, when he got the White Rabbit tattoo, Taz stopped him at the door because the White Rabbits don't run in this part of town. And to bring that into the bar, it could cause a lot of trouble. And so when she like grabbed his arm, it was obvious that it was a botched job. like it was a bad tattoo parlor that Boris went to, and like it's like a hollow thing, right, that he had, and so it like smeared on him, and he had to like recalibrate it. And so she's just like, it's just another sign that he can't commit himself to anything. I think he really was a part of the White Rabbit gang, but he was trying to get around like the authentic tattoo. He was doing a botched job on it.
Nice.
And she asked
So-
him how much he paid for it, and he paid way too much for it. Way too much.
I love it. So now we know a lot about Boris. Janice says, so the small-time slicer, Boris, you've probably heard of him. He got in over his head. He tried to hack into Zsinj's data stores, and he got caught. I don't know if he was able to pull anything out, but there's a CoreSec hit team after him right now, and there's a very, very large bounty. So, wanted to make sure that you were aware in case you wanted to collect on the bounty, because I heard that he's hiding out with his old gang, the White Rabbits. I'm not sure if the White Rabbits are aware of what's coming their way. So the opportunity that I see is get Boris out. You can either turn him in for the bounty, just turn him over to CoreSec or the Empire.
And at that, Heat kind of clears his throat. He says, "Is the bounty for him alive or dead?"
2 bounties. The one for him alive is 25% higher than the one for him dead. And then he slides over a little data reader showing you the credits, and it is large amount.
Oz is just like, I don't see the issue here. A bunch of CoreSec people, bunch of CoreSec crew rips up a bunch of the White Rabbits, and Boris gets off the block. I don't see the point.
Points
And I
of
think
payday.
Heat turns to Taz and says, "Collateral damage. CoreSec comes in here. CoreSec comes in here. They could tear everything up."
I think Taz is also putting her steely glare tag at Luna because Taz knows that Luna is an ex-bounty hunter and is only in this for the money.
Yeah. I think like Luna deflects with exaggerated eye roll, which is not a edge that they have. But,
Until you level up.
Maybe. But yeah, I think they roll the eyes and they're like, well, collateral damage is one thing, but the money's good as well. I'd say just taking him from the White Rabbits, that seems to be the least amount of fuss. But I don't know, Taz, you don't seem too fussed about collateral damage.
Well, you're just trying to get back into a cushy hoverlift bed.
Oh no, you've wounded me with your inciting character analysis. However shall I live?
So are we going to turn Boris over?
And I think Heat puts an arm around Court and says, "That's right. I mean, are we really going to turn someone over? I mean, better dead than, a prisoner of the Empire. I mean,
No matter what, he's not going to the Empire. But Boris got his Ronto roasted, and he's going to need to deal with that. If we want to turn him over to CorpSec, I'm less concerned about that. But having a hit squad in the metroplex is no good. That's no good for this neighborhood. I think Boris is going to get what's coming to him, but maybe it would behoove us to intercede before the hit crew does. I don't like Boris any more than the rest of you. And personally, I think he made this bed and he should lie in it. But if it's going to get people hurt that don't need hurting.
Another factor to consider, Janice adds, what if he did get something? What if he has something that Zsinj doesn't want anyone to know about? We all know that they are the major producers of synthetic foods. We've seen the studies that have been buried about how their food pills are not actually healthy. We've seen what somebody addicted to Zsinj cola ends up looking like.
Janice, if I can be quite honest, we're talking about Boris here. He didn't get any information. This is
didn't
Boris.
Get any information? He points to the number figure. I don't know. That's an awful lot of credits, and it's an awful lot of work.
So then, Janice, are you talking?
No,
Go ahead.
She says if they're sending out their own people and not just hiring someone to take care of it for them, they really want him and no one in the middle.
But they also put out a bounty to cover their tracks, cover their bases. So I don't know. Guys, feel free to decline if this isn't the right job for you. I'll look for another team. I saw the opportunity for some credits and also heat. I know how you like to make sure that there isn't too much trouble that comes burning down on the Metroplex.
Janice, that's very appreciated. That's very thoughtful. Are you suggesting that there is a possibility of a different payout than the bounty, which would be for the information? In which case you have a buyer?
I don't yet have a buyer. I'd like to see what it is that's there before I find a buyer. I have a few potential interested parties.
I see.
I wouldn't mind there being a fewer white rabbits around.
You can take the girl out of the razors, but you can't take the razor out of the girl, right, Taz?
You could say that, Block.
We'll get back to you, Janice. It looks like somebody's at the bar needing a drink.
You've got my comm details. It was good to see all of you. And then he kind of gives you like a little hug as he's, you guys have to move out of the way, Court. He says, I'll see you around, Court.
Yep, I'll be here.
And he'll take off.
When he's left the cantina, obviously there's nobody else who needs a drink. Block's just lying, and he's bad at it. Janice can see that there's no one at the bar.
Of course.
But he kind of looks at the rest of the crew and he says, "What do you guys think? I mean, that is some good credits."
I think that Boris may have actually got something out of Zsinj's data stores. Janice has a point. A bounty that high, there's something involved. That's more than just being embarrassed about it.
I agree. As much as I'm loath to admit it, that maybe Boris stumbled on something he doesn't even know he has. There's a chance we could double dip, kill 2 Minox, 1 stone.
I'm not against having a lot of money. So you're saying the right thing so far.
Of course you're not. This job is no good for you. I understand. Won't let me hear the end of this.
There's only so much you can mix the same Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster every 20 minutes or so every night.
A lot of variations.
It's what true Serenians drink. It's what we do here.
So just to talk a little bit of mechanics, everyone who has anything money motivated for a drive, this credit, your share will be 3 ticks if you take him, if you take him alive. and turn him over to Zing.
Turn
Just
him over to
barely-
Zing. Oh, right. Zing,
Yeah.
the company, not Zsinj, the empire. Right.
God, I should have thought it. I didn't realize that would cause confusion. Oh, I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, Zing.
Got it.
That's what happens when I combine several different operating systems
Well,
together.
Yeah, that's right, Rich. Magic happened.
I pull Boris.
I'm going to assume that Zsinj is out of the picture, right? We're not dealing with Zsinj at all
No.
until we
No.
are. So
Thank you for that clarification. I was making that mistake in my head. Yes, but
Zing. Zing has the monopoly on food in the city. They have a sugar packed Zing Cola and food pills they dispense on the streets. Anything food related, Zing has their clammy hands on it.
How long has Zing been on Serenno?
Zing is fronted by Zsinj.
It's fronted by the Imperials.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I definitely want to take them down. What do you guys think about getting him, handing Boars over? But before we hand Boars over, getting that information for ourselves.
I know just how to convince him.
I'm a little bit hesitant about turning him over. Yeah, I mean, if he has to be turned over to make sure that we don't see a lot of, troopers or security come down into Block 13, then maybe that's necessary. But let's see what's going to come down first.
I like to keep our options open.
With that in mind, is there a way I could slice Zing's databases and see what they have lined up for this person? Is that a thing?
What they have lined up for Boars?
For Boars, like, is there anything about like what they plan to do to Boars when they get their hands on them?
Oh yeah, sure. You can. Let's do our first roll of the game. This sounds fun. So I've linked the roll for your party up top. I could relink it if you need it again. Code. We're not using roll with me, even though I've sent that to you guys multiple times because I'm just like Boris. I should have retired a long time ago. I have too many operating systems going at once. It's just so real. The struggle is real. So let's build this.
Yeah.
Let's start off with block. All right, block. Your jammer. So you start with one die automatically, one positive die.
Okay.
Your jammer trademark apply. So that's the second positive die. Do either of these edges that you have do you feel like? I think
Slicing
does.
absolutely.
Cool. So that's 3 positive dice that
Okay.
you have. And then I'm going to add in modifiers that will be negative modifiers. So let's talk about that, the rule snapshot here. So we've got some cool ones over here. We can add them for your trademark, your edges, your position, scene tags. I don't think any of these necessarily apply. You have the ability to do your slicing. You don't have any traumas or conditions active. However, each tag that makes the enemy harder to overcome, I definitely think Zing's data stores are well protected and they're on high alert, right? Because somebody just broke into their shit.
True.
They're poodoo. So
Sure.
we'll say that there are 2 negatives and you got 3 positive. Now, before we commit to the dice, you also have the ability, 2 different things. You can either blow a stump point for an extra die, or even better, you can blow a stump point after the fact, or you can use a second trademark in a check, and you can do it after to change the die roll up or down one to cause stuff to not necessarily match. Yeah. So you're going to roll 3. You're going to type in 3 over here. So you're going to roll 3 number D6s and 2 pip D6s, and then hit submit.
Before I create this pool, can I attempt to get a piece of gear with some positive tags to
You
boost
certainly
my
can.
pool? Okay, so let me add a roll before our very first roll.
All right. Well, we've already had a roll before that roll, but with
That's
the
true.
roll before the roll, something.
All right. So for gear, I would like to. Oh, where did the gear list go?
Oh, it's in the rule snapshot. Thanks
Rule
to
snapshot.
A clever-eyed Stephen.
Okay. So I currently have a data pad computer. I feel like I would like it to be concealed in the sense that it is tougher to detect the intrusion, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Is that
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
reasonable tag? Okay, so that's one piece of gear, and with an extra tag. What is the roll to get that tag?
Oh, it's real simple. That's one thing I actually think is awesome and elegant about this. It's in the pop-up. So for each special gear, declare what it is and how many tags it has, then roll a d6. If the result is equal to or greater than the number of tags, you get the item. So you would get that free if you just want to conceal. Do you want to throw a couple more tags on there?
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be concealed. It's going to be advanced.
Nice.
And it's going to be it's also going to be portable. So I'm
Perfect.
going for a three tagger.
Okay, cool. So you're going to roll a d6, and as long as you get a 3 or higher, you have it.
5.
Nice. Okay,
right.
so you're now going to roll 4 positive d6s, and then just the 2 negative for now.
Okay, so let me. All right, perfect. And 2 negative. All right.
Okay. I'll let you do the moving. You're going to match those up. And the good thing is that you matched those two, the 2 and the 2. So that 2 doesn't count. But your 4, you don't have a match. And so you go by the highest die that's left of positive, which is a 6.
Perfect.
And if you had multiple 6, then that would give you boons to a superior success. But a 6 is a thing. So we're looking for 6 is a success. Additional 6s are boons. So you got a success. You hack in. You're trying to gain what information? What is Zsinj's plan for boars? They have 2 plans.
May I ask a mechanical question real quick?
You may.
Okay, so you roll positive dice and negative dice. What if you rolled a 6 on the negative dice and it didn't match?
Then that's fine. You still only count the highest positive die.
Perfect.
And then the other question that I had is it's a pairing. So if you had 5 and negative and you rolled 3 positive 5s, then that 5 negative will only take out one of those and you still have 2 5s.
Okay, cool.
Right? So it's just a match. It's like those 2 couple off, they head off to the dance floor, and all that's left is, the people that are standing on the side, listening to the music and wishing that someone asked them to dance. And the highest one of those is just success or failure. I don't know why I took it to like a 7th grade dance, but hopefully the analogy holds. All right. Block with the 6, that means you have a full success. And your goal was to find out what Zsinj's plans are with vis-a-vis boars. And there's this is what I do. I've made a Wednesday, and now I'm about to reference Slag existing in Star Wars. Their intranet, there are a number of in their IT data infrastructure executives who are talking about, we need to make an example out of this person. They're requisitioning their corp security to go in and send Zsinj teams after that. Then there's a wholly different executive who's the one who pulled out of the slush fund to create a stipend for a bounty. They're coming at from 2 different things. It's almost like there are 2 different IT executives who are taking their own very distinct actions to take out the infiltrator, sending a message, all that stuff. And there are a couple of questions from underlings within their overall IT security infrastructure about, did he actually get anything? And none of those questions are answered. And you see them kind of marked out and moved to the bottom of the pile.
Okay. So based off this, my sense is that they're scrambling. 2 people are setting up 2 different avenues are trying to solve the problem. But it doesn't look like they have anything past the idea of, we're going to do a bounty. Well, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. When they get him, there's nothing like, there's no evidence of what they have planned after that. Okay, cool. With that, I think I'll relay that information to the crew and just let them know, yeah, as Zsinj's definitely they're a bit scattered on this one. They as much as I hate to admit it, I think Boris did something. I think he got a hold of something good. The way they're acting in there is more than just somebody breached our data banks. So, knowing that, What do we want to do?
Okay, we have to get to him before they get to him. If someone's going to profit on this, it should be us.
Thank you. And preferably we need to get there before the White Rabbits and the Corsac and Zsinj have an all-out fight here in Block 13.
Well, that too.
Oh, how important is it that we make sure that he can't tell them anything about, I don't know, you, Block?
Well, if Boris gives him my name, he'd just be trying to drum up something, but that's a good call. I wonder, he's always hanging around. He's always trying to hit me up to join his Discord. He always wants me on that server. I wonder if I can get to him. I wonder if I can communicate with him while he's in the White Rabbits. I'm not sure what their security is on their portion of the HoloNet, but maybe we can reach him before we have to physically go into that block.
Or maybe we can draw the White Rabbits out.
Maybe, but maybe that's the approach. Maybe there's 5 of us. And if I'm quite frank, maybe half of us are good with a gun. So drawing them out, we got to play this smart if we want to get a hold of him. So my thoughts, I'm just kind of thinking aloud. I wonder if I could contact Boris through the HoloNet before even having to get to him. That's one possible thing. And maybe like getting him to come to us, meet him somewhere, arrange like a drop off or something. Since we know that Boris likes all of us and kind of wants to be with us, that might be easy to do.
So just the GM reminding you of things that have been established about Boris. He's a loudmouth.
Yeah.
So if he does come your way, it won't be secretive.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can impress upon him the importance of what he's done and how he's in, I wonder if he heard
He's
it
pretty
from
impressed
us.
with what he's done.
Well, that's true. All right. Well, you know what? We should just hand him over. You know what? I'm liking Boris less and less. My thought was just more like it seemed like as much as he's a loudmouth, he seems to be very impressed by us. But if he's now kind of running with a gang, he's probably more impressed by them. So that's a good call. Any other?
Yeah, I think Taz is proposing that that she and any of the others, really besides Block, because I don't think she doesn't think of Block as a fighter. Sort of cause a distraction on, hit something else in White Rabbit territory. If we beat something up, if we scuffle up some heat with one of the other gangs in their territory, we can sort of weaken their position where others can sneak in and get Boars.
So where do you want me? The distraction with the White Rabbit or helping Boars?
I think we need you to extract Boars.
Ooh, okay.
What if I kind of hesitate to start a gang war with
Doesn't.
with White Rabbits because there's just 5 of us, just the old chip off. What if we time this right and we let the Corpsec hit crew go in first, and while they're scuffling it up, we get him.
Do you know how many innocents will be, caught in that crossfire? That's not good for your business.
Well, no, of course it's not good for business. But, well.
And just so we're clear, it is common knowledge that the White Rabbits are generally in control of the easternmost tower of Metroplex 13, but the majority of people who live in Metroplex 13 are not White Rabbits, meaning they're not going to get in the White Rabbits' way, but they don't aid, abet, other than just live alongside the White Rabbits.
Yeah. So on the flip side of that, then, if it's well known that the White Rabbits are in the Eastern Tower, is it a safe assumption that Corpsec hit crew knows this is the tower to target not the rest of this block.
That's a fair assumption, yes.
Okay. So we know that there are innocents, but based off of the knowledge everybody has, there's no reason that they should be interfering with the innocent folk living in the block nearby. So okay, that's point one for that, I guess. Any other vibes? Any thoughts?
Of the different vehicles that have access to that block, I would assume that garbage trucks are the ones that would be the least, raise the least eyebrows. Is that correct?
It would raise the least eyebrows. The only problems with the garbage truck is that it's set up like a normal net. You got a dump chute that you drop all your trash in. So
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's a great idea. I really hope
Oh, this more
you
and
try to
more.
convince Taz going into that garbage chute, because that'll work quite well. But you wouldn't be able to take a garbage truck like up to the 82nd floor or whatever without somebody going, "Why is that a hover truck?" Like, that would be weird.
Yeah, I think that we could do an extraction if we just do something so you could safely land in, down the garbage shaft. I just got to get there early and make sure that it's emptied out enough that I can actually get to you within a few loads.
So the thought is somebody breaks into the Metroplex, fights their way or sneaks their way to Boars, dumps Boars down a garbage chute where he'll land in the truck with you, and you bring him out. This is genius. This is the best thing I've ever heard.
Awesome. Does anybody want to try to find some kind of inertial dampener gear or some kind of thing to keep him from falling 80 stories? Because that could be a problem.
Then we would only get paid for dead,
Exactly.
and we wouldn't know what he got.
Right.
We could all roll for gear until one of us gets them.
Oh, and just so we're clear, because I didn't at all state it aloud, alive is easy to identify because you're turning him over alive. Dead is you have to turn the body over as well. You can't just like have big, hollow evidence of dead body. Sorry, they've been hosed before. Zsinj is very touchy about that. Dang, I can't believe Zsinj and Zsinj. I didn't even catch that at all. So anyway.
Rename them Ping.
We know, yeah, we know. We know Boars is also teched up himself. Is there any chance we could just get him a rig or something that would connect to his cybernetics that would allow him to like slow that descent? I'm in my mind, I'm thinking of like, dropping a rope with a one of them, motorized kind of gears that lets you lower. Is that something? Is that anything?
Yeah, there's a climbing harness, and
Sure.
That is what I'm thinking of. Thanks.
80 stories of climbing harness? Sounds good.
just so I get the plan right, there's going to be some folks that cause distraction, whether it's either roughing some people up or maybe, I don't know, just like, hey, white rabbits, let's talk about stuff. And I'm looking at the leader. Apparently, their leader is quite nasty. So wouldn't be that hard to probably like distract her with either some sort of ridiculous proposal or something that might escalate enough to be a big distraction, but it's not. We don't have to be the ones to escalate it while others break in.
Yeah, so
I was gonna.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna try angles for getting the sick boys involved in some way. Like put the word out on the street that the white rabbits have been talking down the sick boys and how they can't do anything. Just to sort of get them riled up and maybe cause a little scuffle that we can exploit. If there's like suddenly like 3 groups fighting, we can get our in to grab Boars and shove them down the garbage chute with hopefully something attached. And yeah.
So you want to drum up the sick boys against the white rabbits at the same time that the corpse set crew is coming in. Is that what you're saying? So that there's enough ruckus. Okay, I'm into that.
So if you want to do that, I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
sure.
We just got some goods off of the sick boys, right?
Yes.
So we could take a small amount call in that favor that we just had with Suvo and ask for like some piece of equipment and plant that on the white rabbits so that the sick boys think the white rabbits took it and they're coming back to get their crap.
I love it.
So, okay. So yeah, I love this. So we have a little bit of time here because the assumption is, and I might be wrong on this, Rich, let me know. Does CorpSec know that Boris is hiding with the white rabbits? He doesn't, right? That was something Janice gave to us beforehand.
Right.
Like, that's not common knowledge. So we have a little bit of time where we could plant some stuff on the white rabbits. I could then drop an anonymous dime on Boris and the white rabbits to CorpSec so that they know where he's going to be at. So we know when they're all going to be engaged. So we can perfectly be there waiting at the door to break in when all hell breaks loose. Is that a thought? Is that real?
That seems like the general plan you guys have laid out.
That's if everything goes well, which it always
nothing
goes
could
well.
go wrong with
And
that.
it's
Right,
gonna, nothing can go wrong.
I have to get the garbage trucks emptying out the shaft as soon as possible, though, because they're way low on the priority list. So we may have, I don't know, 20, 30 stories worth of garbage already to clear out.
Okay. I like this plan a lot. I think this is great. I think this is really cool.
This is pretty wild. I am into your plan. All right, let's get some dice on the ground, on the table, to see how things go. What do we think is our first?
I think getting that equipment planted. If Heat's got the lead there, and the favor to call in, I think maybe we start with his move.
Yeah.
To sort of get it planted on the white rabbits and get the word out.
Okay. So the first roll is going to be Heat, and the attempt to get the white rabbit. Reach out to. Sorry. You tell me, Heat. What's your move? And we'll.
My move would be to go to Suvo. So Suvo just took off, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to call Suvo up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry to make you come back so soon, but I'm going to need a small amount, reasonable amount of the equipment that we just returned to you, and we're going to make use of it, and you've forgotten that you've ever seen it."
Okay.
And then the next step after that would be to go plant it on the white rabbits. And whenever somebody drops a dime, is someone else going to drop the dime to the sick boys that the white rabbits have it, or do you want me to do that?
I'll do that.
Okay.
I think I've got the gang connections there. I'll lean in on that part of it.
Okay. So yeah, it's just calling in Suvo and saying, "Hey, I want a piece," and dropping it on the white rabbits.
And I'm sorry if this was already stated, but when you say drop it on the white rabbits, are you saying you actually want to put it near them so other people can find it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I want to plant it on them. Yeah.
Yeah. Reaching out to Suvo and turning in that favor, no problem. It just means, well, it means you're using up a favor, and he asks that if it's possible for him to get his stuff back again, he'd really like that, right? Because
please consider that you only give me enough that you're willing to lose, because it's very unlikely you'll get this back. We'll see. I won't make any promises, but once you give it to me, consider it gone, and you've never seen it before.
all right.
Well,
Just
let me
enough
tell
for
you.
them to buy it.
Yeah,
but-
let me tell you, there's some trouble brewing, and you don't want to know anything about this. If you get it back, great. If you don't get it back, okay.
He kind of, he does the waggle of the head and does some math of like he can swap out some stuff. So yeah, he will get stuff to you pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then I will plant it on the white rabbits.
Okay. Sweet. Then I think the planting it on white rabbits is the part that has the potentiality of danger and failure, right?
Mhm.
So cool with me. I am quickly doing a modification per our conversation about Zing versus not Zing, and we're going with Ping Cola now. So I am trying to. Wow, I'm having a weird time. Okay. So I have modified the little weird little exactly the corporate logo, and I'm now dropping that in. Sweet. So let's get you to a die roll to see if you run into any problems.
Yay. Okay, so I think that I get 1 dice for free.
Mhm.
I think that my paladin keyword trademark of awareness, knowing where things are, helps me avoid any guards that they have. And then my reaction speed edge potentially helps me get in and out quickly.
You can
Okay.
only use tags from one trademark
Right.
unless you use a
Unless
stunt
you
point.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, Greg, for catching that.
Thank you. So then that's 2 positive dice. How else do I get positive dice?
Gear.
I don't have any gear yet. I should roll that up. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna roll up a hover bike real quick.
Cool. Okay.
And I'm gonna make it agile and fast and light, so that helps me get there and come back. Let's see if I get it. I rolled a 2. I do not get it.
Oh man, you don't
Yep.
get the hover bike. You had a line on it, but then somebody snaked it out from under you.
Yep. So I think that puts me at 2 positive dice.
Yep. And I think that I'm going to give you 1 negative die because the enemy has a bunch of lookouts.
Okay.
Like they're wary. While not everybody in their block that they control works for them, they also know, if bad things come our way towards the white rabbits, then we are in the middle of it. Yeah, so 2 and 1.
Yeah. So that sounds good. I'm going to
Sounds good to me.
submit.
Okay, looks like you have a 5
Yes.
as the highest die. So 4 or 5 is a partial success. You achieve your goal at a price. Perhaps you don't achieve everything you wanted. It costs you something, and the situation gets worse. Okay. So were you going at this alone, Heat?
I was.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you head out with you didn't have a speeder bike. So
Mhm.
how were you carrying this stuff? Just by hand?
So I think this was a small amount of stuff, and I think
Right.
I just shoved it like in a bag or a backpack or something like that and headed out. Because I realized my normal speeder bike was too far away for me to get to it. So man, I need to hoof it. And I'm kind of jogging down the street with this bag of stuff.
Okay, so you got this big bag of stuff that you're gonna plant, and maybe Suvo has dropped a little, something that can be tracked out of the old stuff, so that he wants to help, right?
Right.
He owes you. And you make your way to an area called the Atrium. It's a filthy Duracrete plaza between all the apartment towers, divided into zones by different steps. And you end up heading up a set of escalators. And after you pass through the Atrium, you see that there are a few people wearing like Ganger colors, and you catch their sharp eyes. Like there's one that is wearing a pair of kind of prehensile robotic ears, very obviously identifying themselves as a white rabbit near the easternmost tower entrance, and they clock you as you come in. And here's the partial success. So you make your way in. I assume you take a lift because they're up around 80th floor.
Yeah.
So you head up the lift. You find a way to drop off the parts and we'll say it's not maybe it's in like a storage closet that's you jimmy open, or the doors. But as you're starting to make your way out, there are a couple of folks that are obvious gangers. One of them with a white rabbit tattoo on their neck, another one with Sorry, I thought someone was busting out laughing. I'm like, what'd I do? But they are coming down the hallway towards you, and you're pretty sure they will know you don't belong. What do you do?
I think so. Whenever I made this swap, I think I went to where their stores are, and put the equipment in with their stores and made
you
it kind of
dropped
obvious
it in
what
with
it
their
was.
stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But I picked up some of their stores and I put it in my bag. So I came in with a full bag and I'm leaving with a full bag. But this is like useless crap, right? Not something
Mhm.
that, it's not like guns or anything. It's like, a radio or something pretty simple.
Radio, maybe a couple game cartridges for some
Yeah.
game-related
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I'm headed out and I've got this bag full of stuff and they come down and I think that's whenever I surreptitiously or I drop the bag and the stuff spills out and I take off so they think I'm stealing from them and I'm going to take off running and lead them
Nice.
on a chase.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, one of them's like, "Hey, this is my eat 'em up," and they take off running after you as you're beating feet. Now, just for like visuals, I'm totally leaning into the idea of peach trees. So there's like this central open airway that all of the various, like everybody has this breezeway in the middle of this tower, but then there's like labyrinthine 1-bedroom apartments that central off of that. Cool. So yeah, you take off, you beat feet heat, you're running away, and these white rabbits are giving chase. Let's cut to the next person. Taz, I think you had maybe the next step in the plan. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure Taz is very good at this though, so I think I might be more interested in assisting Luna or Court with planting. My plan was to sort of take the some sort of manifest, right? Because this was supposed to be like the shipment that was going to the something boys.
Sick boys,
yeah, and sort of doctor it and give it to them as like evidence that the White Rabbits have taken some of their stuff.
Okay, so you're trying to psych out the sick boys, make them
right. But I think Taz is not. She's not exactly suited for that. It may have been her part of the plan, but it was not necessarily her best thing to execute. So I'm interested in helping. Yeah. So I'm interested in doing a helping role to somebody else. Luna or Court want to be doing that. I think Court might be getting a garbage speeder, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not a garbage speeder, a garbage truck, and actually a fleet of them. So yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Luna, are you assisting me with this?
Yeah. I think they have the air of like, all right, you're making faces at me now. You need me for this. Okay. All right.
So how do we approach this? Are we going straight up to them, or are we?
I'm going straight up to them.
Fantastic. So I think Taz is assisting by I think she is doing her intimidating steely-eyed stare, right? She has a reputation on the street. The gangs know who she is. And she's eliminating for the sick boys might, if Luna came up to them all by themselves, there might be the chance for them to like spring to some sort of violent or try to run them off. But Taz is trying to eliminate that as an option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because if they see the Taz is there, they know that it's not this is a serious matter.
Yeah. Luna's putting on their uptown girl persona. In the as described by Billy Joel, not the song, but the description of the uptown girl
Nice.
from the song, because part of Luna's background is they're well educated and beautiful. Which I can't believe that's an edge there. So
it totally is.
They're putting on like this might not work against the sick boys because they're what's the description? I don't know.
A gang of psycho juicers who love nothing more than chugging adrenaline boosters and shooting up stores who don't pay them look away money.
Nothing
Yeah.
but downtown men in Luna's eyes.
All
Um,
downtown men. They're all the sick boys are not your, but maybe they'll be intrigued.
yeah, I think like Luna's gonna play good, kind of like good cop, if Taz is gonna be like the steely-eyed like enforcer. Luna's gonna come to them to like distract them with like basically like, a proposition of some sort, like and Luna's gonna I think what Luna's spinning, so like, yeah, so they can get in, so that they can doctor some stuff. This is
Cool.
mostly
I
just
think-
to get in.
I roll first to assist.
Yes, you roll first to
Okay.
assist, and a success or partial success, and boons. If you roll it, add a plus to the leader's roll. So let's build your roll.
Right.
You're kind of running Overwatch effectively, right? So
Right.
it kind of seems scary.
I think I'm doing gunfighter and steely-eyed stare. And just because nobody's done it, and I'm going to do it anyways, just because I like the idea, I'm going to spend a stunts point to tie in my BFG. It's this big slag off, area control weapon, very similar to the one in Rogue One that's carried by. Why am I blanking on?
Oh
name?
man, I posted up an article about how
Blaze,
illegal
right?
that thing was recently.
Yeah,
Blaze,
exactly.
yeah.
It's akin to that weapon. And
Right.
so yeah, she's just like standing at a distance, staring down all of these the boys, the sick boys. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Wait. So gunfighter, steel stare, 1 for trying, BFG. I don't think cover an area in this. Well, I don't know. You can cover an area. They know the fact that thing. So yeah, 5.
5. Okay.
Cool. And negs. These guys are psychos. They're not very smart, so they're not easily intimidated, right? Because just live hard and get and frag them up is their motto this week. And you're going into their territory. So 2 negatives on that.
So okay, so that would be 2 in the pip.
2 in the pit.
So we're doing it. Okay, 2 in the pip,
and
5 in the
5
regular.
in the reg. Yeah. And
I
I've
thought
cleared
D6s
dice.
have pips, and I am firm on that. Okay, here we go.
My wife will argue with you.
This does not go well.
Oh God.
So what happens when I assist and roll poorly? Because that's what I just did. My 5 got canceled, and the highest I have is a 3 on my positive, which is still a failure.
Yeah. So first of all, that's bad.
Does that give a minus to a challenge die to Luna?
No, I think it's just a fail for you. So
Nice.
it's just a fail for you. So bad stuff happens, but Luna can maybe extricate her uptown girl self from Taz's abysmal failure there. So yeah, Luna, you're thinking Taz is like, yeah, I'll stand Overwatch and they won't mess with me. And a few of the sick boys, including if you check in the NPCs, there's a guy named Collar. Collar and you, Taz, have history. And he sees you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you guys got history. And he sees you and a couple, one of the sick boys who calls himself Chunk, or maybe he's just lived up to that name. We're not sure. He's a Gamorrean who's got a cybernetic tusk. Like he's got a cybernetic replacement tusk. So Chunk and Collar are going to be giving you some grief, Luna, or giving you some grief, Taz, as Luna tries to talk to some of the other sick boys about some trouble that she's heard about or something. Yeah, so let's see how this goes, Luna. What's the spiel? Like lead us off with the spiel as the sick boys are. We'll say that right now they've got a couple of couches they've drugged to the front of a storefront that they've beaten, like bashed out the windows and effectively taken over. The couches are luckily washed in neon colors that hide most of the stains. And one guy is like horking some kind of weird adrenaline booster as the rest of the guys are listening to an Ithorian punk band by the name of Durnkrench. So Durnkrenth. And yeah, so what does it look like as you come up to them?
I think like I think like sorry, I'm mixing up my Sunfells now. Luna's spiel is like the condensed version of it. I know we've got time. Is something at the time is that like they have a line with making contact with a pirate smuggler that can get them access um, to some outer rim kind of substances that, well, that have been, that has been trouble getting through Warlord Zsinj's kind of like blockade and their control. And the way that Luna has kind of come access to this, like they made contact with a family member of theirs, which they have not. They have not heard from them in a while because they refuse to answer Christmas messages. Well, Luna refused to answer. I don't know about the family. But yeah, they're spinning it like, oh yeah, I got contacts. I know you've not heard. I know you've not heard of Sunfells, but rest assured. And Luna's putting on like the class, not the upper class, but just class.
That's upper class to them.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's see how this goes.
Like, yeah, let's see how this goes. Yeah. So let me see that again. I'm definitely using I'm using joy and as a trademark. I'm looking like I'm having fun, and I'm using the edge beautiful.
Nice.
Sure, why not? I'm also going to spend a stun point to use
bring
the
in another
orbital
trademark.
Yes,
Okay.
orbital trademark. And
Sweet.
does that? Can I also? That means I can use the edge that trademark has, right?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, he's well educated. I can tell them all about substances,
Nice.
because I've been involved with smuggling some of them before, or at least shooting down people who've been smuggling them before. That seems more like for a bounty hunter.
That sounds like a lot of positives. Here are the modifiers for your negatives. First of all, you're in their territory, and you talk a lot. There's a lot of words. And so not all of them followed the entire plan as stated. You think that Chunk is clocking you though, like he gets it.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna submit. That's 4 positive and 2 negative.
See how it goes.
It's 5 positives actually.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, right. 1 for trying. Yeah.
1 for trying.
Okay, all right. So I need to add 1 more die. I need to add 1 more die.
Dang. Because right now you're looking at a 4. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 4 is still good, but yeah, that's an yeah, that's a 4.
Okay. So what you have is a 4 or 5 partial success. You achieve your goal at a price. Perhaps you don't achieve everything you wanted. Maybe the action costs you something and the situation gets worse. I am going to say that dealing with the sick boys, Luna, you end up with a condition as the cost of this. They buy into it. They're getting riled because I assume you like all these other drugs and everything, and then you slip in that, hey, White Rabbits have some of your stuff, right? Once you get their trust. So you end up with a condition of some kind. Now, that last one underneath restrained and weakened is make up your own. Which condition? It's whatever condition you want. It's not going to further complicate you with sick boys, but it's a condition you'll carry through looking at time probably to next session unless you get it cured.
Oh, so is it like something tying me to the sick boys? As if like, no, I'm responsible for them?
Oh, it can be, but it could just be like an icky, oozy condition that you got as a result of having to deal with these guys down in the hive.
Pink eye.
Pink eye. Yes, could be that. Totally pink eye.
I'll think about it.
Cool. All right. So let's get the next piece of the pie there. So Taz and Luna, you've got your thing. And I've seen in chat all the things that Court is doing. you're going to use the yen repo mod. Is that a piece of gear that you're?
Yeah, I like have it at 0 listed, but I figure I could essentially roll to see if I can get into like closer in to make it super subtle, if that makes any sense. So roll to see if I can get deeper into the Yen Corp stuff to reset the situation. So it's like no one will ever pick up that we had anything to do with it. If I
Nice.
don't, then I'm okay.
Okay.
So essentially what I want is essentially the repo mod, but I want it subtle and I guess, how should we say? Just for the afternoon.
Untraceable?
Yeah, like untraceable, like it'll be in repo mode and then it'll come out and no one will see it. So,
Okay. That sounds good. Let's see
So-
how that goes for you.
Okay, so it's me rolling dice. So I just roll 1d6.
You're going to roll 1 just for trying, similar
Okay.
to like in Lady Blackbird. Then you pick one of your trademarks, Arcology Brat, Revhead, probably Revhead.
This is
or
for the
Optimus.
gear though, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you just roll 1 gear. Ugh, yes,
Okay,
you roll
sorry,
1
sorry.
die, and you tabulate the number of tags you've added to your thing. As
So
long as you
added 2.
okay, so as long as you roll a 2 or higher, you have the gear, the repo.
Okay. I rolled a 6.
Okay, I'm gonna clear dice. And
Yeah,
yep,
you should.
have it.
I didn't see them until then,
It's
so I
okay.
thought it was already cleared until I rolled. Okay, now I've got the gear. I've got trying. I've got Arcology Brat, which gives me essentially the access to Yen that other people wouldn't have. I have a machine interface. And
Mhm.
I have, I don't think Tenacious, so I got 4 dice, I think.
Hold on. So if you want to use more than one trademark, then you have to spend stump points to do so. Otherwise, you just start with one trademark and use any edges in that trademark.
Oh, okay. Well, is it a drive interface?
I feel like drive and machine interface definitely work here. So going down
Okay.
the rev head path is a good way to get you 4 dice right off the
Okay.
bat. Then you bring in your gear, and that's a 5th die.
Okay, let's do that then.
Cool. So let's figure out your negatives. And there are, I think you've got the benefit of being pretty subtle, but they still are wary. Like the white rabbits are aware that trouble is coming their way. So there's a little bit of wariness there that will give you 1 negative. And
Okay.
I think that's it for right now. So you're in pretty good.
Watch me mess
good
this
straits.
up. Okay, so here we go. I can do it. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I got a 5, but look at all those 1s and 2s.
Wow, I thought that was a lot worse than it ended up being.
Yes.
So 5's a mixed result.
Yeah.
Which means that you get what you want with a bit of a cost. So you end up repoing one of you pull a garbage truck out of the fleet that's moving through, and there's a droid driving it. And the droid has opinions about letting anyone else drive. So
Okay.
the problem that you have is that the droid driver will not actually relinquish the controls, but assures you that
I will take you wherever it is you wish to go.
And I, of course, I'm just so innocent. I'm like, you just need to follow the route that you have here. So.
I see. Yes, I will follow that route.
Okay. And and I have my like little repo hat on, so I look official.
I am very disappointed to be repossessed.
Well, it's not really you, it's your vehicle, but.
I am my vehicle.
And she sort of stops and says, you really aren't. So we have a little existential, discussion there about.
Ooh, a little existential discussion. I'm going to name this droid Chibi.
GB, okay.
Chibi.
I say, GB, you're so much more. You're not a garbage
I am
truck.
very happy being what I am.
You're not a garbage truck. You're an expert on garbage disposal.
And also a garbage truck.
Good. This is very good. So that's your complication is GB, the garbage boy or garbage bot.
Yes. I believe in GB though, so GB.
GB. You should believe in GB. G and you, obviously fast friends. Sweet. So as we're looking at time, I think that's where we stop. Like we've got everything in place. The sick boys get upset at Luna and at Luna's words, not at Luna herself, because she's an uptown girl. They don't want to mess with her. We can't believe you came down here. And they're taking off to grab their stuff because White Rabbit stole it back from who they stole it from, which is not cool. Oh, I love the picture of Chunk. Thank you very much. That's great. That is a delightful and very weird looking Gamorrean. I love the.
Do I get
he's
a
got the little-
condition or something for Chunk and Collar roughing me up?
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't actually carry through with my thing.
No, it's okay. I just was looking for a little more repercussion on it besides just that they yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with I think I had to run like I could have handled all the sick boys except Chunk and Collar. Like we have a past. I'm like, oh crap. And so I had to like run and lose them in the alleyways of the hive. So I'm exhausted now.
Cool. Exhausted sounds good. Yes, I just want to apologize real quick before we move to final phrase. I did a couple of misgender, and I apologize. Luna was the they them, and I hosed that a number of times, so I will improve. Cool. So we end with sick boys heading up to deal with white rabbits. Heat running from some white rabbits in on the 80th floor. Block, we'll figure out how you're the next step. We'll kick off the plan with Block interfacing with folks, and we've got down at the bottom Court and GB pulling in to pulling in to be ready for the getaway, and I'm sure that won't have its own problems as well. Cool. We've got a few minutes. I'd love to do a quick bit of stars and wishes because it's the first time I've run Neon City Overdrive. And also it is a weird mishmash of cyberpunk and Star Wars. So we're only 2 minutes. Oh my gosh. So we'll make it if folks need to go. I totally respect your time in that I accept I ran the game a little long. But if anyone wants to go first in offering up wishes, please do.
I'll start. Wishes. I think I would like to right now. I'm loving how this plan is coming together. So I really want to see the fallout of this as things start getting hiccuped. Also, I think right now it feels very Star Wars, and I feel like cyberpunk is harder to figure out. So I think we just need to. I kind of want to see us explore the cyberpunk stuff more. If we can rationalize it, maybe it's just not compatible. I think it is. We just got to figure it out. But yeah, we're almost there. So excited for that. Wish for that.
Thank you.
Cool.
Cool.
Let's go character keeper order if you want to.
Let's do it,
as far as
character
wishes, yeah, I think I am seeing a little bit more of the cyberpunk, just because it's like that we're getting the job, we're doing the heist, we're getting the creds to pay off our debts. So I think that's hitting it. It is hitting the notes for me. I do want to see the heist go off. And I wish the dice rolled better. I don't really have any good wishes. I enjoyed it.
Okay, cool. And then Leandro.
Yeah, I'm kind of echoing Cody's wish of seeing the fallout. I want to see, because to me, like cyberpunk is kind of like the different relationships and different people in the city having to like mesh against each other in this backdrop. And seeing that apply to Star Wars. I mean, I've seen that before. I was in that Veil game you ran nearly 2 years ago now, Jesus, or a year and a half. So yeah, it's interesting seeing that applied to Star Wars. So I mean, this heist looks like it's gonna be a bunch of chaotic fun, but I'm looking forward to seeing how we have to deal with all this nonsense we had to do to pull this heist off, because it's a lot of pissing off some factions, playing factions against each other. You kind of almost have to be. If we're a cyberpunk protagonist, at some point we're going to be on the back foot.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Leandro. And so next would be Sherry. What wishes do you have, Sherry?
This is so weird, but I'm really looking forward to a campaign full of all sorts of vehicle hijinks. So I'm like, yes, I want to have all the crazy mods to do all sorts of things with, if you have the resources of shipping and vehicle stuff, of what kind of goofy things you can do. So this has started out awesome. I'm looking to like just keep that going as much as possible. Plus, I'm going to have to spend all my share of the money on some awesome impractical gift for Taz. So I'm thinking on that right now.
Aw, that's so cute. Adorable stalkers. Okay. And then last but not least, Stephen.
Yeah. So the system's really interesting. I like the subtracting the dice out and that kind of stuff. I found myself taken out a little bit by trying to prep for gear. Blades in the Dark does this a lot for me as well, where you have to kind of have a gear loadout and you figure out what loadout you have going into it. So I found myself, what I did to mitigate that was at the bottom of the character keeper, I just listed out possible things I would do and then rolled for them beforehand. But I do know it came up at some point during the conversation. It was, what if we don't get one of the things we need for this heist? We can all just roll on it until we get it, right? And that seemed a little bit weird. So that's the wish that I would have is, I guess necessary gear or something like that. We have a roll to get that, not a gear roll. We have an actual ability roll to get what's actually needed.
I
for the
remember
boss.
you are limited to 4 rolls per
Mm.
character per mission. So there is a limit to the,
Right.
yeah, we can't all just be rolling. You can only roll 4 times for gear on your character. So I've already used 2, right? Because I got my armor, I tried to get the speeder bike, and I've got, so I only have 2 rolls left for this job.
Is that what the stash means? Is that what those boxes are? Like how many times you?
I don't even know what stash is for. It was on the character sheet and I stuck it on there.
Okay, because
I actually tried to search for stash. Just like, is saving leverage for future downtime? It's weird. It's supposed to be like leverage is supposed to be your payout for cash, reputation, and stuff. So I think it's weird. Like, I don't understand why you have drives and you have leverage and stash. Like, that's why I said you get paid in drive if you succeed, because that's what you do. So I think it's like this intermediary step. Yeah, there should be a way to track how many times you've rolled on gear. I'll see about throwing that into the character keeper, because I think that would be helpful to. I see your X now, and now it makes sense to me, Greg. Go ahead, Steven.
What I did was at the bottom of the character keeper, I just listed out, I think, 7 or 8 different things that could potentially be useful. So I didn't have to look through all those tags. And then when we started this mission, I picked 4 of them and rolled for each.
Oh, okay. If that works for you, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying, the only reason I tossed that out there is because it helps me, so I don't have to go back and look and figure out, do I have a gun? Do I have a knife? That kind of stuff.
So one of the things that I did is I wrote down my 0 point things that I thought of as having, and then I rolled to see if I could get it tags on them. So if that's the thing, so that was kind of how I approached it. That was my take on it, was you have it, you just don't get any advantage from it unless you can roll the gear dice.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
That might be wrong. That was just me.
I think that's a really interesting way to go. You've got your 0 gears. Just do you have these extra tags? That's. I think those are all, like, both approaches to me are fine. And Greg bringing in the reminder that you only get 4 per mission, it works too.
Yeah, I think it's just 2 different ways of easing the improv burden, right? That's just that's the part of it where you're like, oh, I have to come up with like 3 tags for this thing that I want.
Yeah. To me, I'm like, the way I would theoretically play it is just say, I need help on this roll, therefore I'm gonna have this gear and I'm gonna add these tags. And but I think having stuff that themes better to your character is probably smarter. Let's stick with you, Stephen, for stars. Do you have any stars to hand out?
So I really liked this. This session, of course, was very evocative. I liked the characters that we had. I liked that I had a repeating character that I could bring in, because I really liked that character. It was a lot of fun. And I don't want to steal everyone's stars, but the story that we wove together felt very good. I really liked the cantina and that opening setting there, and how we were able to connect up with the rest of the group. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Stephen. Sherry, do you have any stars to hand out?
Well, Stephen said all of them. No, no, he did. But also, it was really good to get the continuity with the rest of the Star Wars Saturdays that I'm getting pieces and parts of. That's always fun to step in and live that little bit of life with other people. And I really like just what do you say, how everyone fit these characters into this setting. It does have that feel of like we went right to the kind of neighborhoody feel, except for Luna, who has that sort of, of us, the most mercenary in some ways. So it's awesome. Luna is mercenary and hence the most mercenary. It was perfect. So I'm really digging it.
Cool. Thank you, Sherry. Leandro, your ears are burning
Yeah.
because everybody's talking about you.
Yeah, thankfully you can't see my ears. I think my star for this session will have to be like the opening sequence of everyone kind of like just easing in, describing how folks are. And I know, Rich, you're like, we're not gonna start at a cantina or in a tavern, but
And then
there's a
we
reason
did.
why there's a reason why people always do that, because it's a good communal place to meet our characters, and especially with the wrinkle that with Block's backstory of well, they don't own the place, but they're he's been around here for a long time, family business and whatnot. And I did really love how everyone kind of like was almost kind of like chomping on the bit to tie everyone together with each other, which it helps me, helps Rich, helps everyone, bring everyone closer. So we don't have to meet each other, which was nice.
Cool. Thank you, Leandro. I'm glad that worked and paid off. That was one of the few hacks to the system I said I kind of have to have, right? So I'm glad that it benefited you guys because I enjoyed it too. Greg, what about you? Any stars?
Yeah, absolutely. The character creation, tying us all together. Everyone was very, as a group, we were all like, oh yeah, no, I know them from blah, or yeah. And starting off with, well, I have this cantina, was, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And then I felt it continued as a group when we created poor boars, who maybe as players we're highly sympathetic with, but as characters we're like, oh, boars, talking out this big mouth that he's so unskilled, he's got himself in way out of his depth. I don't even care. Turn him into corpse sect. Yeah, I enjoyed that part of it a lot. So
It's like, as you guys kept going on, I'm like, oh, are they just gonna leave him stringing in the wind? Like, oh goodness, I'm starting to get nervous as a GM. Like, well, I've got a backup job. That's fine. I'll just let it go. I'm not gonna ramrod and force them to do the thing. If they really are just gonna let that go, that's fine. And I knew you guys talked yourselves into it. I'm like, oh, whoo.
yeah, Janice like kind of pulling the hollow chip back across the table in the conversation was great. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Cody, what about you? Any stars?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the dunking on boars, the creation of boars was so good. That was a perfect little emblematic thing of the everyone's play style in the session, which was everyone got the hand on the ball and was ready to, like, there was no buts. It was all yes, and boars is this, and boars is that, like that. And there was the same thing with the character creation. So it was great to kind of everybody jump in and be very proactive and a part of the game. The big star I wanted to say was I really like that we did character creation, but we got to the planning stage of a job and it's in action. Like, I think this was really, in my opinion, the motion of this session was really exciting. I like that we're leaving off right here before it's like, it's very propulsive. The momentum's really good. It didn't feel like we didn't feel like we had too small of a first session or too big of one to where we're not even anywhere. It's like we got into what we needed to do. So I'm very excited to come back and like get right into it again. I think that was great.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate everybody being cool with like, okay, you did this role with the sick boys and you end up with a condition. The only wish I had is that like I set up a complication with Greg and Taz and then didn't like circle back around. So star to you, Greg, for the reminder and the suggestion to have more of a complication, because like I had it in the back of my mind, but then I got mixed up with like reading the chat and seeing the cool court plan, and like there were a lot of balls in the air, and I got flustered.
Luna was
and
doing
got
that, was really putting on the airs. So it's,
So many
distracting.
airs.
It's all good.
No, I wasn't blaming Luna. I was blaming me. But so yeah, I got Uptown Girl. That's what I'm saying. That was fun, and I love my wife. When I tell her later that someone used a Billy Joel song as an inspiration for their character, she'll be like, "What?" So that's always good. This was really fun. I love the characters you guys have made. I can't wait to explore them for as long as we have them, which is deadly as the system may turn out to be. May not be a 4 whole sessions. We'll see. We'll see. So I'll let you guys all go. Thank you all so much for playing. We'll see you next week.